The thoughts, opinions, and general overall shade thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us.
Jason was talking shit.
Yeah. Good morning, guys. That's right. It's Wednesday, September 18th, and today is National Air Force's birthday today. What do you got to say about that, Rico?
Air Force One?
No, Air Force. Not the shoes, bro, but the actual,
the one that defends our country.
Exactly.
Yeah, black Air Force Ones defend our country.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
Black Air Force Ones defend any mission.
Oh,
that's
boy.
the Black Air Force One is the domestic protection.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
National. It's also National HIV.
Don't make me go get mine right now.
Slow down, guys. It's also National HIV, AIDS, and Aging Awareness Day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you guys are aware. Get tested.
Well, the Israelis are having a special on devices that you put in your pocket, so you all know.
Oh boy, we're not touching that one. It's also National Cheeseburger Day.
Vibrator.
It's also National Cheeseburger Day, you guys.
You can go for a cheeseburger today, Jason.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look up above or down below to see exactly where we live on the internet. And we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. So welcome to everyone joining us from any one of those platforms. But kicking it off today, that's right, we have the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte, who is very stylish in his white tee today with his matching cream LA hat. And Rico, we're going to be at the network show later today, right? Oh, yes.
Yep.
That's right. He'll be at the network show with me, styling and profiling. That's right. It's the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte.
Yeah, networking, but not twerking.
Mm-hmm.
Leave that to
and my
them.
white tee's crazy.
Yes. Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
Picking them up and
There's a
down.
black person on here.
Cute. You
Jason
guys.
has black Air Force Ones.
I do.
Anyway,
Nah, Jason ran away from them Black Air Force Ones.
Never. I got Trump
real
Force
fast.
Ones too.
yeah.
I'm sure you do.
Yes.
So, New York City. Let's talk about New York. New York had a major update to the progress on Operation Padlock to Protect, which, for those of you who do not know, New York's months-long operation to liberate its citizens from the bodega-dwelling, smoke shop, trapper terrorists that have invaded the streets and allegedly are out there eating cats and dogs and geese. And
They're eating the cats.
Eating the cats.
They're eating the dogs.
Hide your husband, hide your kids. They out here trapping on everybody. So far been touted by the press, to the press by Governor Kathy Hochul and New York City Mayor Eric Adams as an overwhelming success. They say that it has led to Operation Padlock to Protect has led to so many illegal store closures that Eric Adams had to take a victory lap on the gram last month where he live streamed to the public the execution of 4 tons of confiscated product. Will the premature celebration go down as Eric Adams' very own 03 George W. Bush mission accomplished banner moment? Of course it will. because at a committee meeting or committee hearing held yesterday, New York City Council questioned the effectiveness of the city's crackdown on unlicensed cannabis shops, despite the closure of over 1,000 stores. According to Green Market Reports, John Troyer, Sheriff Anthony Miranda reported that 1,078 total stores within New York City following 5,059 inspections have been shut down. However, approximately 2,600 remain open. And what do you know? Only 3% of that $104 million in fines that have been issued has been paid to date. Do we ever think that money was ever going to come in?
No.
Jason?
No. That money had no chance of coming in.
No, come on.
Not a chance.
Council members expressed concern over the lack of revenue generated from the fines and reported that that some shops that were closed are simply moving operations outside or reopening that same night. Miranda emphasized the main goal of OPP is to shut down illegal businesses, but not to collect fines, which he noted are difficult to enforce due to the transient nature of many of the unlicensed shops. He also acknowledged the challenges posed by ongoing evasion tactics and highlighted his team's cooperation with the NYPD on enforcement. But community concerns have filed complaints. Community itself in New York have been expressing their own concerns and have been filing complaints, both on the rise tied to a major uptick in due process violations, and some deputies have left their positions, leading to staffing shortages at the sheriff's office. So I guess with every smartphone owning citizen equipped to catch dirtbag cops doing dirtbag shit in 4K, the glory days of OG stop and frisk enforcement has got the boys in blue on retreat. So in summary, OPP critics and legal dispensary owners argue that the crackdowns lack sufficient oversight and have excessively empowered the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office, on the other hand, all their deputies are leaving the force en masse because they're afraid that they won't be able to follow through on the orders given by superiors to rightfully fuck people up like they want to. And the council is here searching for ways to better understand and improve the approach to illegal cannabis sales in a way that'll make everybody happy in the process. Sounds like New York is doing great, y'all. That's Rico Lamitte, dopest dad on the street for High 9 News. Another day.
So you saying in New York they're not down with OPP?
Where's Trench at?
Yeah, you know me.
Oh boy.
Where's Trench?
I like how they're surprised that people were hesitant to pay fines with potentially ill-gotten gains.
Is that they got
Literally.
3%?
Yeah. Those three.
Why don't you pay the fines and then trigger an IRS on it right after
I
that?
want to know why
Right.
those 3% felt the need to pay the fine.
I think
They need to fire their lawyer.
I want to audit. Who the fuck would pay any of those fines?
I mean, I'm assuming
Crazy.
those are probably the ones that were early on. They're like, hey, let's pay this fine and see if they just fucking go away. Like, kind of like it's a shakedown, you know, like you can't sell on my block. Where's my 10%? And I give you your 10% and you let me open back up. It's probably what my guess would be. But I mean, from the girl who kept her Colorado plates on the first 2 years I lived here to not pay parking tickets, like I just, I don't think anybody's rushing to pay those fines. And
I mean,
right?
Yeah,
maybe the fines were just
arresting
confiscated cash taken by the sheriff's office.
That's not how they do the math, bro. You know that's not how they do math at all, ever.
I don't know how they do any math up in New York State right now because
inflate.
the math ain't mathing.
well, no, the fine would be on top of that civil forfeiture, and that's what they're.
Yeah, I mean, they're not arresting anybody, so I mean, are they even collecting information on the people running these shops? Like, what's going on, New York? What's the point of this shit other than just waste tax dollars and do little photo ops of you at the
maybe it's to show
weed.
Maybe it's to show the general public all of their inefficiencies.
Maybe it's to distract from the fact that the aides were arrested for being Chinese spies. I don't know. Maybe it's to distract from a lot of other things going on in New York.
Maybe
right
it's
now.
also to detract. Maybe it's also to detract from the whole P. Diddy thing.
No,
man.
they're pretty. There's a big spotlight on Diddy. I don't think there's a lot to detract from Diddy. They took the key back to their house, so he's no longer.
I know Columbia Care is dancing their own victory lap for dodging that bullet.
Oh boy.
The only chance they have of getting any money out of anybody is to go after the landlords who own the building.
Yep.
Because they seriously don't want to lose their buildings over some knucklehead selling weed in the basement.
That is true.
So, but I don't see them doing that.
They're not.
This is just games playing. This is, and there's 2,600. There was 1,400 trap shops in L.A. before they went legal here in California, and they only opened up a couple hundred dispensaries in the whole state. It's like, what kind of math are you idiots doing?
And now there's only 1,333.
It's just crazy.
Dale, you saying that like made me go back to the story here. All right, so they said they've shut down 1,078 stores total. Despite them,
it's less than a third.
Right. Yeah. Despite Eric Adams, when he was on the ground, when he was doing the burning, despite him saying 1,300 shops were shut down, it says that they shut down 1,078 following 5,059 inspections. So, who the fuck else were they inspecting?
Wait. Let's do some math here. They got 2,600 left. They shut down 1,000. That's only 3,600 and change. So does that mean 1,400 of them passed the inspection, but they only have 79 licensed dispensaries?
Like, what the?
The math is not mathing at all.
I mean, I
they're
think
just saying whatever random number comes to fucking mind.
Exactly.
Wild,
yeah,
man.
they're just throwing whatever numbers out there and just like, oh, the general public isn't going to be able to count this.
I mean, I want to go check out these 1,400 stores that passed their inspection.
And there's 5,000. Yeah, they said that there's like 2,600 still open. Like, why did you inspect 5,059 stores? It sounds like you're just harassing the shit out of people to harass the shit out of people.
It sounds like if you're selling old chips and just a litany of weird shit, they're coming in looking for the weed right now. So that's
they have
that's
been.
crazy.
This is why the community is. That's why they've had the huge uptick in excessive force complaints, and that's why the sheriffs are quitting, because they can't go fuck people up like it was 2000 and Rudy Giuliani was king, and Donald Trump was pulling strings behind the scenes.
Oh God! All this
Thought I forgot.
gaslighting.
Here we go.
I'm not taking the bait this morning.
Good job, Jason. I'm
Yeah,
proud of you.
I'm not
Growth
taking
and
the bait
maturation.
Don't worry, it's still early.
Yeah,
we could cast another line.
Fair, yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
You guys are mean to
you guys
him.
definitely throw some more bait. I'm more bait my way. I'm gonna be baiting Rico all day today at the network show.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Man,
You are the master of
They're
that.
just
Jason.
not serious about this.
The masturbator.
yeah, New York is definitely not serious about this.
No.
They're
People want to buy
serious.
weed.
The one thing that
If
they
you
are
don't make
serious.
it available to them, they're going to go to the trap shops. And that's just the dynamics they're dealing with here. And the same thing happened here in California. Is these regulators want to take this at a slow walk, and people are like, hey, I want some weed. If you ain't got a legal place for me to go to, I know 5-10 places I can go that aren't legal, and they're still going there. So
And
until
cheaper.
they deal with the realities of what people want, this is going to continue to be like prohibition. Find a speakeasy. Joe told me to go up 3 steps and tell him, that I was sent here. Okay.
Yeah, and if they do successfully shut down these remaining 2,600 bodegas or trap shops or whatever, obviously I don't think they're going to. But I'm saying even if they do that, what's going to happen? They'll just go back to delivery like they've had in New York for 20 or 30 fucking years. Like they're not doing anything.
There goes those pagers again, you guys. And on that, we're gonna go to a commercial.
Yeah, just don't buy pagers from Mossad.
The Network Show is coming back to LA September 18th and 19th. Make sure to get your tickets now for the only B2B licensed flower trade show in LA. With its previous shows selling out, you'll want to act fast so you don't miss out on over 150 of the best brands and distributors throughout California. The Network Show captures and ensures an intimate, focused environment for California's most influential brands and retailers to join forces in the true spirit of the legacy operator. So head over to www.networkshow.co/ticketing to reserve your spot and start cultivating connections at this year's Network Show.
Go down to DCR. I'm rocking DVDs. Y'all got VCRs.
We're
Speaking
back,
of
Rico.
VCRs, We're gonna have a throwback to the past, back to
There's
when
no PCRs.
Right? No PCR. Our next correspondent is the head honcho here at High at 9 News, and every time you speak to him, you think you're back in the 80s when they say
the 80s
America
were
was great.
It was.
But we know there
awesome.
it is. Yeah, awesome, when Ronald Reagan denied that Iran-Contra or the AIDS epidemic even existed.
Oh boy.
When the cocaine only had cocaine in it.
Yep. 80s was great. Anyways,
yeah, until we got to LA and they put baking soda in there too.
That was for crying.
We have the man who single-handedly is going to save Donald Trump's spiraling campaign coming to the stage next. He's the highest Republican in every room, even at Mar-a-Lago.
Spiral, maybe.
Even if that room is stacked to the ceiling with boxes with classified markers on them. Y'all know who it is. Jason Beck.
Yeah, there was no Joe Biden deliveries over at Mar-a-Lago, just so you know, Rico. That's where all those
just absentee Kimberly Guilfoyle, right?
Oh boy. He's so ridiculous.
Don't fall for it, Jason. You're doing so good this morning.
I'm not. He's just
he's trying so hard. He wants to take the bait.
Keep trying, bro. I love some bait. Love me some bait. But let me tell you something. We're going to go to a whole nother dumpster fire, you guys. That's right. We're going to go all the way to Thailand because Thailand unveils a new bill to regulate cannabis while keeping it legal, guys. That's right. Thailand has proposed a new bill to regulate its cannabis industry and restrict marijuana uses to primarily health and medical purposes. The latest effort to rein in adult use smoking after several policy U-turns. Under the draft legislation, cannabis or its extracts will be allowed for medical treatment and research by state agencies besides its use in herbal food and cosmetic products. The new bill was published earlier this week by the Ministry of Public Health and just days after the new administration of Prime Minister Pentagram Sarwanika took office. I totally screwed that name up, I'm sure, so my bad, but whatever. The draft bill appears to take a softer stance compared to previous government efforts to regulate the industry. For one, it no longer contains a clause that explicitly outlaws adult use cannabis, which was proposed in an earlier draft by ex-premier Suretha Chavisan's administration. It also effectively means the new government has abandoned a bid to reclassify the plant as a narcotic. I wish the U.S. would take note of that, but whatever. And still, anyone who consumes cannabis or its extracts for uses not specified in the bill will face a fine of up to 60,000 baht. That's basically $1,803. The sellers of cannabis or its products for uses not specified under the law faces a maximum 1-year jail term or 100,000 baht in fines or both. Such rules may hamper free use of cannabis in the Southeast Asian nation, which was the first in Asia to decriminalize the plant back in 2022. A legal vacuum has allowed more than 9,400 cannabis dispensaries to open nationwide, and with many in popular tourist areas and business districts in Bangkok and beyond. The easy availability of the drug became a hot-button political issue during the national election last year when the ruling Pheu Thai party vowing to relist marijuana as a narcotic to restrict its use to just medical purposes due to concerns over addiction. But opposition from the Bhumahati party, the second biggest group in the ruling coalition, has forced Pheu Thai to walk back on its pledge and keep the plant legal. The draft legislation calls for licensing rules on cannabis planting, sales, exports, and imports, all to be tightened, with current growers, suppliers, or regulated businesses required to have or apply for new licenses or permits or face hefty jail terms or fines. While the bill is a more favorable path for the cannabis industry, it may yet pose a challenge for growers, dispensaries, and a vast number of consumer agro firms that have cropped up across Thailand. They sell everything from cannabis buds to oils, extracts, and weed-infused candy to baked goods that, according to the current law, must contain no more than 0.2% THC, the psychoactive compound that provides a high sensation. The public and industry stakeholders have until September 30th to submit feedback on the proposed bill, and the health ministry may still make changes to the legislation before submitting it to the cabinet, which must then send it to Parliament for final approval, you guys. Well, it sounds like Thailand is taking a step out of Washington, D.C.'s playbook and allowing people to self-certify, or at least that's what I kind of got out of this, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this, too.
I mean, first of all, props to them for walking back their plans to recriminalize cannabis, because that was not the right move.
But it just makes the prices go up, Sohum, for a better market when it's more illegal.
Yeah, but the difference is illegality in Thailand, at least prior to their legalization, was they had very, very harsh punishments. I believe in some cases life imprisonment. I don't know if they had executions in Thailand. I know the other Southeast Asian countries literally executed people for possession of cannabis. So I think in this case, probably people's right to not be sentenced to life in prison for possession of a plant is slightly more important than the price going up a little bit due to not the best regulation. I don't know. That's
100%. I agree with Sohum in a lot of ways on that one. I think that they're just a testament to, you can't really put the toothpaste all the way back in the tube because people are going to freak out, but it's also a testament to, like, they were all gung-ho for this, and then what happened? A bunch of California people went over there, started acting like it's the Wild West again. And they were like, excuse me, we didn't mean that. We didn't mean that. So
it's all California's fault.
Didn't understand what was coming. No, not just California.
It's actually the Wild East.
The Wild
East.
I
was going to, you beat me to it, Jason. I was about to say it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
A lot of folks went over there. A lot of folks went over there like it was, party time 1999, and the government was like, hold on, absolutely not.
I mean,
Get the sticks back out.
It is pretty economically feasible for a lot of people that can't stay afloat in California to go to Thailand.
The second that we heard they were getting 45 a gram, everybody booked a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can you imagine if we had Prop 215 and Thailand's very, very thriving nightlife here in California?
You mean human trafficking? That does exist here as well. Diddy had a home in LA.
Wow, you went
yeah.
Right there.
There we go.
About that. I was talking about
coming for that Diddy smoke today.
Yeah,
I was talking about Muay Thai. I was talking about MMA.
I bet you
took it a very different place there.
Yeah, I haven't bought with anybody against women for sure.
I thought you were talking about the full moon parties they got in like Phuket.
She did it.
Oh man, y'all wilding. Yeah, I was talking. Yeah, I was keeping it wholesome today.
I bet. Let you tell it.
They like them kids in Thailand, right?
Whoa!
See what I'm saying?
Hey, but
I was in prison with these guys.
About the kids. They have.
I was in prison with
the dogs.
Thailand, and Thailand is just a cesspool for child predators. It's horrible. Not as bad as Cubic Bay in the Philippines. It's just terrible.
Well, damn, I retract my statements. Then fuck Thailand. If that's what they doing over.
Oh, damn, we don't have to say fuck the whole country.
Don't act like you didn't know that was happening.
They got a long, rich tradition in cannabis. I mean, we were getting Thai sticks back during the Vietnam War. So they've been doing that for a minute. Mm-hmm. And it's nice to see that these knuckleheads that come out of the weeds, anti-marijuana, are told, sit down, shut up, we can handle this. I wish we could do that with like Sam and Sabet and some of these other knuckleheads in our country. Tell them to sit down, shut up. Maybe they should slip a little tincture into their tea.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
How long until their next election? Do you know, do any of you guys know what their election cycle is?
Their election cycle.
Yeah, because
they just had an election, Rico.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how long until their next election? Because if their next election is
it's not like it's gonna be anytime soon. I'd imagine it's 4 years.
Let me finish, Jason. If it's within the next 3 to 4 years, maybe the next person that comes in there is pro cannabis and getting them back on, and it'll open back up.
No, that's not. You're pipe dreaming right now.
All
right, I got you, Rico. Every 4 to 5 years. It doesn't say specifically. So the last one, the last one was May 14th, 2023. So at soonest we have about 2.5 years until the next one. 2.5 or 3.5 maybe.
Thank you so much.
Hold on, Thailand. Help is on the way.
I know.
Look at that.
Maybe.
Look at that.
Don't hold your breath, though.
Well, fair enough. We're going to keep this train rolling. We're going to roll right into attorney Mr. Dale Schafer. He's the founder of Armada Law Practice, and at one point in time did some time for a cannabis crime. He can defy gravity by pissing up ropes as well as flying to courthouses. That's right. It is none other than attorney at law, Mr. Dale Schafer.
He has a nice sweater today.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to teach Jenny Beth how to do that. That's the goal in life where I broke.
You're going to teach her how to piss up a rope?
Yeah. My story today comes down.
She's a shiwi?
Yeah. Yeah.
Shiwi.
She got to hang her upside down.
Punani pinch, right? Okay. My story today comes out of Marijuana Moment, and it's written by Ben Adlin, and it was from yesterday. And the headline is DEA acknowledges the new two-step test for marijuana's accepted medical use is legitimate. Now, what we have scheduled here is a hearing coming up in December over rescheduling. And this is going to follow the Administrative Practices Act under federal law. And what recently happened is that the DEA is asking to put 2 opioid substances into Schedule 1. And so they snuck into the paperwork in a footnote that, kind of, sort of, we have to accept new 2-part test because the Office of Legal Counsel says that's what we got to do. So the reading of that for the upcoming scheduling hearing for cannabis is that the DEA is going to reluctantly accept a 2-part test as opposed to the 5-part test. And one of the things that has to be proven or disproven is about currently accepted medical use. And so the previous test the DEA applied, and this goes way back to when they were first brought together in 1973, is that the drug's chemistry must be known and reproducible. There must be adequate safety studies. There must be adequate and well-controlled studies proving efficacy. That was always a stickler. The drug must be accepted by qualified experts. Okay, who are qualified experts? And the scientific evidence must be widely available. Now, if you've never seen any of these piss and matches with the DEA, they never let studies go through that were trying to prove efficacy. So the 5-part test, you're never going to pass it because you couldn't bring forth these adequate and well-controlled studies proving efficacy. Okay? It wasn't allowed to happen. So now the 2-part test, it's whether there exists widespread current experience with medical use of the substance by licensed healthcare providers operating in accordance with implemented jurisdiction authorized programs where medical use is recognized by entities that regulate the practice of medicine, and if so, whether there exists some credible scientific support for at least one of the medical conditions for which Part 1 is satisfied. Now, that one is eminently doable because there was a study by Sue Sisley that showed the efficacy of cannabis, but in the states where cannabis has been recreationally and medically legalized, state medical boards are overseeing how this is being done. State agencies are involved to make sure that it's clean and healthy. I mean, they screw up regularly, but at least this kind of exists. And so there is evidence of its use, and the 2-part test is going to be much easier to prove that there is currently accepted medical use. Now, that's going to be one of the big questions coming up in the scheduling hearing in December. Is there currently accepted medical use? And for things like PTSD, we have an approved study. But for things like pain management, for anorexia, or nausea, I mean, those studies are out there. They just haven't been done by the DEA. So now we have a chance to move this. I mean, not that I'm encouraging you to move it, but we have a chance through the administrative law system to get the courts to recognize that this is acceptable and move it to a new schedule. Now, I'm not in favor of the new schedule, and I don't think this is going to be the last that we're going to hear about this, because Sam, these knuckleheads that oppose cannabis legalization, they're already screaming that this is a made-up 2-part test. It's only political. But you can just smell what's coming, is that they're going to challenge this. Now, I would challenge it on different grounds. I think it's going to be taken out of the Controlled Substance Act altogether, because the medical parts of cannabis are not enough to keep it there. the actual use, which is more akin to alcohol and tobacco, is not really lends itself to being a medical product. There are some that can be developed, but what I fear is if it goes to Schedule 3, what you're going to get is some tinctures. You might get a few edible products. The rest of it's not going to be allowed. We're still going to have the same trap market and people pushing to get this legalized outside of the Controlled Substances Act. So I think this is a bit of good news, but it's still under the cloud of this is nonsense to try to make this Schedule 3. It should go into alcohol, tobacco, firearms, make a new category for it, and tax and regulate it that way and let the states do it. That's my story for this morning. I'll throw it back to you. What do you guys all think about this?
This is totally politicized, and I don't think that the DEA even has the ability to actually legally do this, to create a whole new process without going through a process to create that process.
I mean, yeah, and it could go the other way too, right? Tomorrow, a new administration could come in. There could be a new head of the DEA, and then they could create a new arbitrary 20-step process that
they're not going to make a 20-step process, bro.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying if
you're gaslighting.
No, I'm saying if you're no. Let me finish, Jason. What I'm saying is if we're acknowledging that they have the legal authority to create their own 2-step process, then we are acknowledging that they also have the legal authority to create an arbitrary,
and I'm
more
saying
strict
I'm saying
process.
That they don't have
I'm not saying it's going to happen.
I'm saying they don't have the authority to do that. And so
I agree with you.
To me, this is the same thing as the Democrats installing Kamala Harris.
Well,
how is that? They have the authority to do that.
They don't have the authority to do that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jason, that they don't have the authority. And the reason I'm saying is because it becomes a very slippery slope. You're giving them the authority to make this test in any direction that they want. So exactly. Yeah. So if you would let me finish, you would have realized that I was agreeing with you and I was helping make that point.
I was helping you to help make that point, Sohum. That's all. This is helping you get there faster.
Oh, yeah.
I got fast track.
Well, the current Supreme Court is taking on the administrative state. So I'm not sure I'm going to make any bold predictions of what might happen to this if it gets into court. What is the authority? We've had a 5-part test for years. What was the authority to do that if they can't change it? And do you have to go through the regulatory announcement, notice, and input process to change it? I don't know. And also the loss of the Chevron doctrine, which was the deference to these administrative experts.
Exactly.
This may kill them a lot because they're going to bring in every dog and pony show out there that claims they're experts to go in and fight about this. And I just think the whole thing's, again, pissing up a rope because it needs to be taken by Congress out of the Controlled Substances Act, or the Supreme Court needs to say, nah, you can't withstand. It's unconstitutional. Stick it in Schedule 1, which Nixon did in 1970. It's unconstitutional to be there, and then leave it free swinging and let Congress have to go now do something. They don't want to do shit unless they have to, and maybe the court will force them to do something here.
I mean, the court. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jason.
Please.
I was going to say they should just remove the DEA from this decision-making process altogether. As the enforcement agency, they have an interest in what happens after, so they should not be a part of making the rules. They should be there to enforce the rules that are written by other branches of government.
I don't think the rules allow that.
Penalty of eradicating them from government altogether and defunding and getting them the fuck off the books, period, if they violate any of those conflicts of interest. How about that?
I just think the DEA needs to just focus on fentanyl. The DEA just needs to focus on fentanyl.
Quick with it today.
Well, the goal of the bureaucracy is to continue funding, and anybody who's in charge of a bureaucracy doesn't get funding, they get canned. So these guys are going to fight tooth and nail to keep their power. It's just the way bureaucracies work.
You're so right about that, Dale. But I think the Chevron doctrine, I think you're right about that. I think this is going to come back and bite them in the ass in a big-ass lawsuit, and it's probably going to end up being by Project Sam in reality, who ultimately may save the day from Schedule 3.
Dude, Kevin Sabet is the prophet.
He might end up being the hero and turning from a zero.
I've become the biggest fan of Kevin Sabet over the last 3 months. Tell you what, man.
That would be the greatest thing that would happen because he would hate that so much, but it would be hilarious.
He has his own room over at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah,
what you got, Jason?
No, he doesn't. Stop the ridiculousness, bro. He runs with the Democrats, bro.
There's no chance.
They were also pretty critical in this story. They were also very critical of Biden-Harris for were trying to oversell what they had done with marijuana, which is kind of laughable because we changed marijuana. No, you didn't. It's still a Schedule 1 drug. It's still against federal law. If you get popped with 100 plants, you do 5 years in prison. What have you actually done? It's nothing. Pardon a couple people that had possession, convictions. That's just horse shit. I didn't do anything to move the needle on marijuana. I mean, I'm volunteer. Hey, I got a felony for growing weed. Okay, how about me? It was nonviolent. I want my pardon, goddammit. And until you do stuff like that for people like me and Luke and others who did our time or who's still there and erase our records and move this into another category, it's all political bullshit. They're just blowing smoke up everybody's ass.
Speaking of blowing smoke, we're going to go to a commercial and we're going to be right back. The Control Tower from Highly Educated has perfected the dab. Utilizing the concept of thin film evaporation, you can waste none of it and taste all of it. The micro texture of the SE pillar increases nucleation at elevated temperatures. And with the tower propelling at 2,600 RPMs, it's certainly the most efficient dab experience to date. The Control Tower from Highly Educated. All right, stop whatever you're doing, you guys. Make sure that you smash that like button. I know we'll appreciate it, you'll appreciate it, and YouTube will appreciate it. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And all of the articles that we cover on today's show, you can read directly on our website at www.highat9news.com. And make sure to mark your calendars for Friday, October 18th, as we will be going overtime after the show. We're going to have the scientists from Abstracts Labs releasing some whole new science that they have uncovered around cannabis, and there'll be a live Q&A along with their researchers. So make sure you mark your calendars for that.
Oh.
I just ordered the summertime strawberry salad when added steak on top here at Anna's. Make sure you do the same thing too next time you're in downtown Long Beach. Come on down and check out Anna's joint on the 400 block of Pine Street. They have amazing selection of beers, foods, and when you come down here to Anna's, you can even challenge me to a game of shuffleboard if you want to lose. Get that? So, next time you're in downtown Long Beach on Pine Avenue, make sure you stop by Anna's Joint on the 400 block. Not only do they have Anna's Joint, this restaurant and bar, but they also have the amazing deli next door, and then next door to that, they have a very exotic flower shop. You may want to stop by and say hi. We're back.
Yeah, y'all. There's Austin, Texas-based correspondent, also known as ATX. Sorry about that. So this ATX-based correspondent has been.
I love the ATX.
There's no such thing as the ATX. That's just a stupid nickname.
Yeah.
Face. He was just upset.
Stupid
That's the one you
nickname.
got him with the bait. Jesus.
Got him.
Stupid nickname.
He's been in the cannabis
So
second data
stupid.
lane for over a decade, and he's back with us.
Amarillo's the ATX. What you think about that?
Oh, you had to think hard. You had to think hard about that one. Here to trigger Jason back a little further. It's the man who always stays on his grind, Sohum Shah.
Thank you, Rico. Jason, actually, you should try going to Amarillo and tell them there'll be ATX. I don't know if you know how the rest of Texas feels about Austin, but you let me know how that goes.
Don't get Jason shot in the middle of town.
Let me tell you something, man. I got people all over in the streets of Amarillo, okay?
Okay, all right. You can ask your people in Amarillo, though, if that's the ATX.
Yeah, they said we banging ATX over here.
Nas once said he went to Amarillo with your hoe.
All right.
All right, well, today we're going to take it out to Missouri's new adult use market, where cannabis regulators just recalled 23,000 marijuana products. Several brands were recalled. The Missouri Cannabis Regulators, the Division of Cannabis Regulation, said they were not properly tested by Fulton, Missouri-based lab Clearwater Science. They said they recalled the products because they were not compliantly tested, so the agency could not verify whether they meet state health and safety requirements. The DCR said it hasn't received any reports of adverse effects. People who believe they might be having an adverse reaction should seek medical attention. Patients and consumers should also stop using recalled products and either dispose of them or return them to the dispensary where they were purchased. About a month ago, the DCR also issued a series of recalls for more than 132,000 marijuana products in a move that's believed to be the largest single recall in any regulated cannabis market. The recalls were primarily tied to 3 operators and involved non-compliant lab testing and improper tracking in the state-mandated metric system. The recalls, combined with stringent plain packaging rules that took effect on September 1st, are causing a shortage of marijuana products in the state. According to data from the New York-based cannabis wholesale platform LeafLink, the number of SKUs sold weekly at Missouri retailers has dropped 20% from 4,200 through most of the summer to 3,400 in late August and early September. So right now, public safety concerns are putting some pressure on the market, and I'm assuming we got some higher prices out there, but I mean, I guess it was good to see that they're taking product safety seriously. I mean, we don't really know much more about what's going on with these recalls. They said there's no evidence of any tainted product. They just couldn't verify that it was done correctly. So I guess we'll wait to see what comes of this. This is Sohum with High at 9 News. Let's kick it back to the team and see what y'all have to say.
I've got some feedback on this one because I've dealt with this with other operators that have been clients, right? And I come in and fix these kerfuffles. And the bottom line is, like, the reason that it's a seed to sale tracking system is you have to track it seed to sale. If you can't prove the origin of this product, then that becomes an issue because they can't say whether you took it out of the backyard or out of your licensed cultivation. So it's really important that you tick off every step of this process. If you don't know how, I know some people that can help you. Hi. But, you know, it is important, and it sucks, especially if this is clean, good product that was just mistracked, because that's still, if you can't, at the end of the day, the rule is if you can't prove that this came from a licensed origin and that this has stayed inside of your facility through every step of the process, being tracked every 24 hours within 24 hours of every movement, then unfortunately, good, clean product that could go to patients and provide access for people in Missouri is going to have to be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, chain of custody exists in other areas of life too. Like, you can't prove the integrity of the product.
I mean, I just wonder if this was more possibly vindictive by someone pissed someone off at some agency, and now the agency is just, you know what, boom, boom, boom.
No, I think this.
I mean, that's
a lot when people are having to use a track and trace system that they're not familiar with, and they're jumping in, and, you know, people are always like, don't think that the track and trace and compliance portion matters to their business as much as other aspects, and it does. At the end of the day, if you can't keep your track and trace system correct and accurate and, you know, readily inspectable, then you can't sell that product, and that's, you know, a loss to the consumer, but also a huge monetary loss to the operator.
100%. Yeah, I want to clarify too. The article doesn't really state anything about it necessarily being on an issue on the part of the operators. It seems like right now it's the testing lab that either can't show chain of custody or was not using compliant methods of testing or whatever it is.
But the article also states in there that the state says that the lab's not at fault as far as the lab's not at fault in the article, doesn't it?
It doesn't say the lab is at fault. It doesn't say the lab is not at fault, but it says they were not properly tested by Fulton, Missouri-based lab Clearwater Science. It recalled the products because they were not compliantly tested, so the agency could not verify whether they meet state health and safety requirements. What I'm reading from that is that chain of custody was broken at the lab, and they can't verify that it's correct.
That will establish who's responsible during that lawsuit that's certain to follow up.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I put into my contracts along the line that people have to act reasonably and follow the rules when they're handling the product, because a recall means that you're going to lose your ass. If your products are recalled, they often get destroyed unless they can be retested and proven. California didn't let you do stuff like that. So someone's going to be paying for the loss in these recalls. And if the lab did it, then they're the ones that are going to have to notify their insurance companies, because everybody else, I mean, you trust when you grow your product, you put it into the stream of commerce, be tested. You trust that someone's going to do it appropriately because it's out of your hands. And I also put attorney's fees provision in there because if you fuck this up, I'm coming after you and you're paying my attorney's fees bill. And I will get notices of execution against your. I mean, I'm brutal when I go after people's money. I took some woman's inheritance one time. She shit herself, but it's like, yeah, you owe my client money. You're paying him money.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Bulldogs. And on that, we're going to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back.
Total Recall.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was weird. Hey, you, America. Do I look like Sean Connery? Good morning, America. Saman Razani coming to you live from sunny Los Angeles, California with the one and only highest host, Mr. Jason Beck, smoking on the best weed in the world. Did you know that we have an audio-only version of our podcast? You can find it on Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. No excuses in 2024. If you haven't checked us out, check it out now. And also, check out what the Prophet's doing in 2024.
No.
This is what
I can play. Let's dance.
It's what I think, Sohum. It just is what it is. That's right. Coming up next, that's right. It's that Southern belle who loves to tell you all about yourself and more. She has some truths to tell, some stories to read, and some news to share. She's the founder of Kind Cannabis, as well as just served a 501c3. It is none other than Miss Jenny Beth Dills.
Jason, did you even do a K treatment in between segments? What's going on there? You got
a what?
Smooth, soft. You need a smooth, soft, quiet storm voice.
I'm fast. I'm sorry.
There.
I can switch things up real fast. I can switch things up real fast, Rico.
It's like a blue chew in between.
Stop the ridiculous.
That's not what happened. He put a honey pack in his tea this morning. Come on, dude.
Boy.
Well, good morning, everyone. We're gonna drive on away from that topic. Today, we're diving into some eye-opening news from California, where cannabis tax revenues have dropped for the fourth consecutive year. According to the Cannabis Tax and Fee Administration, the numbers tell a concerning story. In the second quarter of 2024, California's cannabis tax revenue fell to $263.1 million, down from $361.4 million in Q2 2021. That's a staggering decline of nearly a third. We're also seeing total taxable cannabis sales following suit, dropping from $1.5 billion in Q2 2021 to just $1 billion this year. So what's behind this trend? Heavy regulations and fierce competition from unregulated markets and hemp-derived THC products are largely to blame. Earlier this month, Governor Gavin Newsom took action to address the issue by introducing emergency rules aimed at banning the sale of intoxicating hemp products. The idea here is to ensure that all hemp-derived products sold in California have no detectable amount of total THC. This is a move, he says, is crucial for preventing children from getting their hands on these potentially dangerous products. And there's more on the legislative front. Just last week, as state lawmakers approved a bill to allow cannabis consumption lounges. However, this proposal is also facing some challenges, as the governor previously vetoed a similar measure. Here's the big question. What does this mean for the future of California's cannabis industry? Are these tax declines a sign of struggling market, or could they indicate a shift in consumer preferences? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts as we unpack this issue. I think it should be interesting. I mean, we'll see. Are things going outside of the regulated market? Are they having to, are we selling things in different ways that maybe aren't so taxable? I'd love to throw this back to you guys. I'm going to be filing some quarterlies today, a little late, but getting them in. So CDTFA is fresh on my mind today. I want to hear what you guys think.
Jenny Beth, I think right off the bat, I think it's a multitude of issues. Number one, yeah, people are going into the trap. This shit costs too much. Number two, we've had so many shops just shut down, right? Obviously, I can't name numbers exactly. We can talk about my clients or whatever, but we've had a slew of specifically single location operators just all going out of business. So there's like less people operating, period. Everything's fucked up here. Everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's rough out there. It is rough. It's man.
California didn't design this to be successful. That's the problem from the gate. It was overtaxed and overregulated, and there were too many loopholes for people to take weed out into the black market. And we've been circling the drain here for years. Mm-hmm. And I'm not surprised. And it would be nice if these legislators could get their head out of their ass long enough to go look for reasonable solutions. Like, well, I think we need to get rid of this local control thing here in California and let it be treated more like alcohol, where you can actually get a license to dispense without local jurisdictions jamming you up for years.
We need to eliminate the excise tax too, and a few other things.
Yeah, eliminate the tax.
Yeah.
I mean, on top of that, they need to realize that it's really, at the end of the day, it's a volume game. If they, like, first of all, let's be very clear. The reason for legalizing cannabis should not be to generate tax revenue. That should not be the primary purpose of it, which it has been treated that way in many states, and that's one of the most critical problems. But realistically, they can maybe make more money in the long run by issuing more licenses, reducing the taxes on it so it actually competes with the trap market, and people have an incentive to go into a retail store and pay reasonable retail sales tax on it. And I think in the long run, they're going to end up getting more benefit from that and potentially raise more tax revenue.
Or operators have an incentive to keep their product in the licensed market as opposed to whatever else they might be doing with it. I don't know.
Yeah, lo and behold, Gavin Newsom killed the legal cannabis game, and he's also looking to kill off the hemp game too. Like shit ain't looking good for him.
Look at that. It's true. That is.
Well, nobody talks about what it costs to enforce all these laws against cannabis.
Way too much.
They sell this as a money generator, a tax generator, but they don't talk about, well, how much are we spending to go out and enforce against this?
Yep.
Because if you open the legal market up, those costs go away, but they're kept hidden in secret. And when you bring the cops in to ask about policy decisions, they want to continue to enforce because that's their game. They get paid to enforce.
That's right.
So we need better leadership in this, no doubt about it. But people who understand, you keep doing the same damn thing expecting a different result. That's just a diagnosis of insanity. This has got to have a fresh approach to it.
The bigger the bust, the bigger the boost, Dale.
Yeah. Well, it's a selling point to the cops. I mean, right now they can't even recruit cops because the beat cops that I know, they don't want to fuck with weed. They don't care about it. They got violent criminals they're concerned about, and someone smoking a joint. They don't have time for that stuff. It's the higher ups that make policy that continue the money come in from the state and federal government to enforce against weed. They don't want that gravy train to go away. It's their job. So,
and let's be real about that cannabis enforcement too. Is like no street cops have really ever cared about that. They've used it as a premise to target certain people. Right. If they don't like the way you look and they want to fuck with you and you're smoking a joint, then they'll do it. But if they don't, then they won't say shit. You go about your day.
Yep.
I have friends who are cops and their family members smoke weed. Okay, so they're not concerned about it at the street level. They have to deal with it from the policy level. When the sergeant tells you got to go out and go after this trap shop, they do it. But the costs of enforcement are just astronomical, and no one ever brings that into the equation here. And I think it should be brought into the discussion because this can get better, and I think Stevie Wonder can see the ways to make it better. They just don't want to do it.
Oh man, Stevie Wonder. I think this tax revenue is going to continue to drop, though. It's going to continue to drop.
Too little, too late, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
too too late.
Until they actually provide a real solution. Obviously, this isn't going away. It's going to continue to spiral.
Right.
Yeah, Tilray will be right there to buy up everybody because they got all these small beer companies right next to your favorite dispensary. Yeah, they go out of business. Schedule 3 gets to popping. Tilray's right there. Gonna buy up everything. Watch.
Yep. Well, I'll tell you what. We might get to end on time today, Rico. You pretty excited about that?
Ooh.
Look at this.
I'm not always there when you call, but I'm always on time.
All right. Well, an ex-Portsmouth prosecutor with a troubled past now faces federal marijuana charges, you guys. That's right. A former Portsmouth assistant Commonwealth attorney faces federal marijuana charges. Federal prosecutors say Matthew Taylor Morris conspired with others to distribute large quantities of marijuana and would even store the marijuana in his law office. This all happened between March 2021 and May of 2022, and prosecutors say before he joined the Portsmouth Commonwealth's attorney's office, Taylor was hit with the charges of conspiracy to distribute and possess with intent to distribute marijuana and possession on Tuesday, September 10th, you guys. Court documents show that, and prosecutors say that Morris worked with co-conspirators Nicholas Capehart, Donald Rogers, and Jeffrey Sines to distribute the marijuana and, in quotes, did derive substantial gross proceeds from their unlawful activities. Rogers would store large quantities of marijuana in storage across Hampton Roads, including at Morris's office, prosecutors say, and they say that Morris and the others, using encrypted messaging to evade detection, looks like that didn't work so well, would coordinate to pick up the marijuana from those locations and sell it. The charges came in about a year and a half after Morris had his law license suspended for 6 months after he prosecuted cases as an assistant Commonwealth's attorney under a previous suspension. And 10 on Your Side also reported that Morris had his law license suspended after he was found in contempt of court for twice bringing a gun into the Virginia Beach courthouse. He also showed up hours late to a court hearing scheduled for 9:30 a.m., and Morris told the judge at the time that he may be, in quotes, bordering on being unfit to be an attorney, you guys. Man. 10 on Your Side has reached out to the Portsmouth Commonwealth's Attorney's Office to confirm that Morris resigned, and days before the indictment and for further comment, and we will update you when we hear back in regards with anything about this. But man, oh man, this sounds just like what was the lawyer, Better Call Saul? This sounds like a Better Call Saul case for me. What do you think?
This dude is way past Better Call Saul.
Right.
He was trapping packs and rolling up to the courthouse packing a piece.
Yeah. I mean,
even Saul Goodman didn't do that shit.
Packing a Mac in the back of the act.
Competition.
Packing a Mac in the back of an act.
Dale, you ever had any like client's product stored in your office?
No, but I had a guy work for me. I tried to buy a pound. And he brought me a 2-pound deal, and I said I only want 1 pound. And the fucker wouldn't take it back, so he left it in my office, which caused some serious problems for me. I fired the son of a bitch, but I never have. And I've also gone to court packing.
Yeah,
I had a concealed weapons permit for years.
I don't mind the going to court packing. I don't see no problem with that.
Police do it all the time.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, I'm not saying I have a problem with it. It's just you're usually not supposed to, because he was held in contempt of court for doing it twice. So it's clearly it's against the rules, and for the prosecutor to be blatantly violating the rules of the court, that's definitely something that we should talk about.
Well, shout out to.
I don't think he cared much about the rules.
No,
that's his
clearly,
problem.
exactly.
Clearly.
And shout out to Troy Lawrence with a big old super chat. Says, no reach around with legalization. Legal.
Good old reach around.
Lethal.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
I mean,
Troy,
let's
for
also
that.
acknowledge what happens to prosecutors when they end up in federal prison. This guy's going to spend the rest of his life in protective custody or else.
Who'll have it worse, Diddy or a federal prosecutor?
Oh,
A federal prosecutor, hands down.
For sure.
He didn't put anybody in jail.
He's liable to lead
He's-
the wide receiver.
He's a local prosecutor, though, right? He was a Portsmouth prosecutor.
Yeah, Portsmouth. Yeah, yeah.
But still.
Go in the tight end and you come out a wide receiver.
Prison don't have enough lube to hold Buffy down.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
They got baby oil in commissary now?
Hey, unsealed documents. Unsealed.
soap.
Unsealed.
You know. I'll tell you what. One thing that is one thing you can say about Puffy being in jail
What's that?
is jails are 18 and over.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
He and R. Kelly can converse, right?
Exactly.
Oh, they'll be making some hits, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Something.
Oh,
He can prove it,
schedule
baby.
now. Just sent you some cheeseburger for the day, Jason.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
shout out.
yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ben. Deschedule now. Happy Cheeseburger Day. That's right. Oh man, we're gonna get some food today. I'm so excited.
Yeah, you like egg? You like eggs on your
Yes.
cheeseburger, Jason? What do you like on your cheeseburger? You like mushrooms?
Egg is actually good on a cheeseburger. I have had that, like the little breakfast sandwiches. That's always good. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
You know,
I like me a good Impossible burger. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I
Impossible
can't eat
burgers
red
are
meat.
good.
Remember the cherry cricket?
Oh yeah, I love that place. I was just there last time I was in Denver. We used to cut our class before lunch, and so we'd have a double lunch period and drive Cherry Cricket when I was in high school.
Oh yeah, fuck lunch. Anyways.
Oh boy.
Thank you all for joining us for yet another episode of High at 9 News. You can catch us live weekdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to the super fans showing love, getting their comments posted live on the big screen, live audience, and online supporters catching us across all media platforms, tuning in each day to the headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry. As we said, was it the super chats for today? Was
Deschedule now, Ben and Troy. Yes,
Ben?
Shout out Ben and Troy.
Big love.
Yes.
Thank you, man. We will be having a Wagyu sliders today at the network show.
That's right.
Networking and not twerking. But also our production team, Cloud Media Partners. We got Millie in the house today.
Yes. And hold on, you're gonna love this, Rico. The last story, the source of the story was actually the news agency that Millie used to formerly work at.
Ooh.
Cool.
How does it make you feel? Everything come full circle here.
Well, everything came full circle when I first met Millie, because she worked at other places and knows a lot of other people that I know.
You're such a jerk, Jason. Anyways.
Why are you making it about you? We were asking Millie how it felt getting him.
Oh, go ahead, Millie. Sorry. Millie says no comment, I guess.
Millie is a beast on the sticks back there. But as always, Cannabis Sativa, the reason why we show up to read these stories every single day. Thank you, too. It has been Wednesday, September 18th, 2024. The show is over. Hope you've all been blessed with the top industry. You've all been blessed with the top industry headlines. Hope it's enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke until tomorrow at the very least. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High at 9 News, America's #1 daily cannabis news show. And today we are going to do like my good friend Kendrick Lamar and pop out right back to Uncle Dale. How about that, man? You got any rope pissing tips for these good folks?
Well, what I want to remind everybody is that we have a lot more in common than we have differences, and the vitriol and the rhetoric has got to be toned down by everybody. This election's going to happen. Our country's going to go on, and we got to stop trying to get the nuts stirred up, because there's a lot of nuts out there with guns. And Donald Trump has survived a couple now, but there hasn't been this much political violence since I was a kid back in 1968. I remember I started high school when they were shooting each other like this. So we all need to take a chill pill, back up, smoke a blunt. Remember, we're Americans. We got a lot more in common than we got differences here. And let's stop calling each other names. How about that? That's my takeout for the day.
Uncle Dale.